Unveiling the Hidden Desires, 5 Behaviors Women Secretly Crave, and the Stoic Path to Mastery. Gentlemen, welcome back. Today, we're delving into a topic that sparks endless debate and confusion. What do women really want in a relationship? The truth is, sometimes what a woman explicitly states she desires isn't quite what truly captures her attention or fosters a genuine connection. If you've ever found yourself perplexed about how to truly win her over, stick around. We're about to explore 5 hidden behaviors that women secretly crave but rarely admit, offering insights into the female psyche that go beyond surface-level pronouncements. This exploration, much like the Stoic approach to life, involves looking beyond the obvious, cutting through societal expectations, and understanding what truly matters in human interaction. By understanding these unspoken desires and grounding your actions in Stoic principles, you can create a relationship dynamic that is both fulfilling and genuinely attractive. 1. The allure of absence, ignoring her strategically and staying busy. It might sound counterintuitive, even borderline absurd. No woman is ever going to explicitly request that you ignore her. That would seem self-defeating, wouldn't it? However, the underlying principle at play here is the attraction of perceived high value. We often associate high value with someone who leads a full, purposeful life, someone who is engaged in meaningful activities and isn't simply languishing, waiting for a phone buzz. This isn't a license to ghost her or engage in manipulative tactics. It's about occasionally demonstrating that your life extends beyond her orbit. When you're occasionally less available, she might begin to wonder, he must be busy. He must be important. Maybe he has a lot going on. This sparks interest, piques her curiosity, and subtly communicates that you're a man with your own goals, projects, and ambitions. When you're not always at her beck and call, she'll naturally wonder, why isn't he paying attention to me? What's he up to? What's so important that's keeping him busy? The beauty of Stoicism lies in its emphasis on self-sufficiency and inner calm. The Stoic teachings remind us to focus on what we can control, our actions, our thoughts, and our reactions. As a man who embraces Stoicism, you understand that your worth doesn't depend on constantly seeking validation or approval from others. You are grounded, you are in control of your time, and you prioritize what matters to you. By dedicating yourself to your own life, your work, your passions, your goals, you naturally cultivate an aura of self-sufficiency that she finds inherently attractive. It's the Stoic virtue of self-control and action, demonstrating that you're not swayed by external desires, but instead maintain your composure and focus on your own personal growth. It might appear to be a paradox. Women often express a desire for attention, yet excessive availability can diminish their interest. The key lies in striking a balance. Consistently being available can project neediness, as if you're constantly seeking her approval. However, when you demonstrate that you have your own priorities, that you're not simply waiting for the next text or call, she begins to perceive you as a man who has something more to offer than just attention. This is what fosters a true connection. In essence, occasionally prioritizing yourself and being slightly less available can paradoxically increase her interest in you. However, this shouldn't be a manipulative game or an attempt to play with her emotions. The goal is authenticity, genuinely being busy pursuing your own goals and living a life that she would admire. Remember, as a Stoic, your peace and sense of self-worth originate from within, not from the external validation of others. Keep that in mind, and you'll naturally attract the right kind of attention. 2. The freedom of space. Being cool with her having her own space. This concept might initially seem counterintuitive. We've all been conditioned to believe that jealousy is a sign of caring, that a certain level of protectiveness is inherently desirable. Women want to feel wanted, they want to know you care. So, isn't showing some protectiveness what she wants? You've likely heard it a million times. Women want to feel wanted. Perhaps you've experienced that familiar pang of jealousy when she's spending time with her friends or when another man seems to be showing her attention. It's easy to feel threatened. However, acting jealous actually conveys the wrong message. When you display jealousy, You project insecurity. You might not realize it, but in that moment, you're revealing a lack of self-confidence, a doubt in your own value. You might think you're simply protecting your relationship, but she'll instinctively pick up on that insecurity, and trust me, it's not an attractive trait. Imagine this scenario. She's out with a friend who you suspect is flirting with her, and you begin questioning her about it. She'll likely begin to question your trust. Does he not trust me? Is he afraid of losing me? Does he not think he's enough for me? These doubts, my friend, can slowly erode her attraction to you. This is where the Stoic mindset becomes a game changer. Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control other people's actions or feelings. We can only control our own responses. In the context of your relationship, this means trusting yourself and trusting her. If you're constantly checking up on her, attempting to control who she talks to or how she spends her time, you're operating from a place of fear of loss, fear of inadequacy. However, the Stoic approach is rooted in knowing your worth, not seeking validation from others. You know who you are, you trust that if she's with you, it's because she chooses to be there. There's no need to constantly prove your value, because you already possess it. When you exhibit calm confidence, you are demonstrating something far more powerful. You're communicating, I trust you. I trust myself. I am secure in what I bring to the table. This, my friend, is a magnetic quality. Confidence, not jealousy, is what builds respect. It subtly conveys, I've already won you over. There's no need to play games. When you act from a place of inner peace, you naturally create space for her to feel secure as well. You're both in this relationship because you want to be, not because you're afraid of losing something. So, what should you do when she spends time with other people or when another man flirts with her? Trust her. Trust that your bond is strong enough to withstand outside distractions. Don't feel threatened. Instead, focus on continuing to be the best version of yourself, the man who is secure, independent, and confident. The Stoics teach us that peace of mind originates from within, not from controlling everything around us. When you genuinely embody this mindset, you'll find that her attraction to you deepens because she sees that you're not only secure in yourself, but also in the relationship. There's absolutely nothing wrong with showing that you care. It's simply about striking that delicate balance, being protective without crossing the line into insecurity, offering the right kind of attention without suffocating her or attempting to control the situation. When you can achieve this equilibrium, when you can demonstrate that you're secure in yourself and in her, you'll notice that she feels more drawn to you than ever before. Therefore, the next time you feel that familiar pang of jealousy creeping up, pause for a moment. Reflect on your own worth, and instead of questioning her, trust the bond you share. Your calm and confidence will be far more powerful than any jealous reaction ever could be. Embrace the Stoic virtues of self-control and acceptance, and you'll find that the perceived threat of external influences only serves to strengthen your connection. 3. The power of female friends. Wanting you to have attractive female friends. This concept might sound utterly perplexing, even contradictory. Who in their right mind would actively want their partner to spend time with other women, particularly attractive ones? However, this is a secret desire that many women harbor, even if they're hesitant to admit it outright. Here's the underlying rationale. When she observes that you have female friends, it subtly reassures her. Why? Because it subtly signals that other women are interested in you. It suggests that you're a man of value, someone who can attract attention, and that, paradoxically, makes her feel more secure and more drawn to you. You might be thinking, but what if she gets jealous? What if she doesn't like it? Sure, she might voice her concerns, perhaps even express discomfort with the idea of you being close to other women. However, deep down, the fact that other women find you attractive does something powerful. It reinforces her perception of your worth. The interesting aspect of this is that the jealousy she might feel isn't necessarily a negative emotion. Sure, it might sting a little, but it can actually work to your advantage. It's not about intentionally making her feel insecure, but about subtly demonstrating that you're someone worth fighting for. She might experience a twinge of jealousy, but deep down, it also fuels her attraction because it tells her that you have options. She realizes that she's not the only one vying for your attention, and that inherent challenge can make her want to hold on to you even more tightly. And if those female friends happen to be attractive, even better. When she sees other women around you, especially if they're beautiful or charismatic, it creates a healthy sense of competition. She starts thinking, other women would love to be in my shoes, to be the one with him. I need to keep my game strong to ensure he stays interested in me. So, how does this seemingly counterintuitive desire connect to Stoicism? This is where the beauty of Stoic philosophy truly shines. At its core, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and to relinquish the need to control other people. This includes not attempting to micromanage your partner's feelings or feeling anxious about their reactions to your social life. When you cultivate inner calm and confidence, you don't feel the need to constantly prove yourself or justify your actions. You trust that you are worthy, and you allow your actions to speak for themselves. The Stoic perspective reminds us that we cannot control how others feel, but we can control how we react. So, when you have female friends and your partner reacts with jealousy or insecurity, instead of allowing that to throw you off course, stay grounded, trust in your worth, and trust in your relationship. If she sees that you're confident in your own skin, not getting rattled by her reactions, it will only enhance her attraction to you. It's the calmness in your response that showcases your strength, a strength that stems from knowing you're already complete and don't require validation from anyone else. Don't shy away from your female friendships. Live your life authentically. Show her that you're the kind of man who has options but has chosen her. Don't try to manipulate or control the situation. Allow the natural dynamics to play out and observe how she becomes even more drawn to you. Confidence in who you are, trust in your own value, and peace in your actions will make you far more attractive than any contrived games or tricks ever could. Remember, in Stoicism, we prioritize inner peace. We don't allow external circumstances, such as jealousy or other people's opinions, to disturb that tranquility. So, if she feels threatened or jealous, let be her journey to work through it, not yours. Continue focusing on being the best version of yourself, and the rest will naturally follow. 4. Decisive leadership. Having strong opinions and taking charge. This one is somewhat counterintuitive, so pay close attention. You've likely heard women express a preference for a more passive partner, someone who's easygoing and agreeable. Perhaps they've told you they like someone who is flexible, someone who simply goes along with whatever they want. However, while some women might verbally express this preference, deep down, they're often far more attracted to a man who knows what he likes and isn't afraid to take the lead. You might be concerned that you'll come across as too controlling or domineering. It's important to clarify that this isn't about being a dictator, but about being decisive, being someone who possesses a clear vision of what they want and isn't afraid to articulate it. Consider this. How many times have you been around someone who is indecisive, who struggles to make even the simplest decisions for themselves? Perhaps you've been in a group trying to decide where to eat, and there's that one person who simply can't commit to a choice. It's frustrating, right? Conversely, when you're the person who steps up and confidently declares, "Let's go here," people respect that initiative. The same dynamic plays out in relationships. When you stand firm on what you want, whether it's choosing the restaurant, making weekend plans, or simply expressing your thoughts on a particular topic, it projects confidence. It demonstrates that you're not easily swayed by others and that you know who you are and trust your own judgment. Trust me, confidence is one of the most attractive traits you can possess. Women are drawn to men who aren't afraid to express their opinions and stand by their decisions. You might worry that you'll come across as arrogant or overbearing. It's all about striking a delicate balance. Having strong opinions doesn't mean you should bulldoze over other people's thoughts, but rather that you're comfortable in your own skin, confident enough to express yourself, and willing to take charge when the situation calls for it. Think of it this way. The most successful leaders, the individuals who have earned genuine respect, are the ones who take responsibility for their decisions. They don't wait for someone else to decide for them. They lead because they possess a sense of purpose and clarity in their actions. This leads us to a key element of Stoicism that aligns perfectly with this concept. One of the central tenets of Stoicism is the idea of living according to nature and embracing what you truly value. Stoics teach us that we should align our actions with our inner values, not be swayed by the opinions of others or fear making mistakes. A true Stoic doesn't waver when it comes to his core beliefs. He takes responsibility for his choices and doesn't seek validation from the outside world. In the context of a relationship, this Stoic mindset translates into being true to yourself and standing firm in your decisions. Instead of trying to please everyone around you or constantly second-guessing yourself, you own your choices. When you do that, when you stand by your principles and lead from a place of self-assurance, it automatically makes you more appealing. Women don't want someone who constantly seeks approval or doubts themselves. They want someone who is secure in who they are. Don't be afraid to take charge and share your opinions. Show her that you're not simply floating through life without direction. Have the courage to make decisions, whether they're big or small. Even if she doesn't always agree with you, she'll respect you more for it. The beauty of Stoicism is that it's not about being right all the time. It's about being grounded in your own beliefs and living with integrity. When you lead with conviction, you're not only making her more attracted to you, you're also building a deeper connection with yourself, rooted in the understanding that you are enough, just as you are. Next time you're faced with a decision, whether in your relationship or in life, take the lead, own it, and trust that your confidence will make you more attractive. When you're true to yourself and strong in your convictions, you'll naturally draw her closer. 5. The thrill of brevity. Wanting passionate yet brief intimacy. This concept might be somewhat surprising. We're often bombarded with the notion that everyone desires those long, romantic, candlelit nights filled with drawn-out intimacy and deep emotional connection. While those experiences certainly have their place, there's a hidden desire that often goes unacknowledged. Many women actually prefer a quick, intense experience over the long, drawn-out romantic gestures we often imagine. This isn't to diminish the importance of romance and connection. They are absolutely essential. However, sometimes a burst of raw passion and unadulterated excitement can be far more thrilling than you might anticipate. Women are human beings, just like men, and their needs and desires aren't always what societal expectations dictate. Sometimes they crave that spontaneity, that undeniable spark, that electrifying chemistry that transcends the need for prolonged build-up. Think back to a time when you experienced an intense connection with someone, a moment where words were almost unnecessary, where there was simply an unspoken understanding, a palpable energy that made the moment feel intensely alive. That's precisely the kind of dynamic we're talking about. Excitement, intensity, and a dash of unpredictability. Some women might outwardly express a preference for a slower, more connected pace of intimacy. They might tell you they're seeking something more emotional or nurturing. However, when you provide her with that potent mix of passion and intensity, when you keep things exciting and unpredictable, you'll be tapping into something deeper, something that many women are actually craving. It's all about that delicate balance between profound connection and raw chemistry. Not every moment has to be slow and deliberate. Sometimes, a small spark can ignite a roaring flame. This doesn't translate to rushing or being disrespectful. It's about understanding timing and rhythm, about creating moments where both of you can genuinely feel that intensity and excitement, and recognizing the inherent beauty in brevity. It's about leaving her wanting more, not just in the physical sense, but in the emotional sense as well. When intimacy feels excessively long and drawn out, it can sometimes begin to lose its magic. However, when it's just the right amount of passion and intensity, it leaves a lasting impression, a lingering memory that she'll think about long after the moment has passed. So, how does this connect to Stoicism? When you truly consider it, Stoic philosophy teaches us to embrace the present moment and to focus on what's immediately in front of us, without overthinking or meticulously planning every detail. It's about being fully present in the experience, without attempting to control or predict the outcome. This applies not just to life in general, but to intimate encounters as well. Stoics believe that you should genuinely enjoy what you have in the moment, without overcomplicating it or getting caught up in expectations. Think of intimacy as a moment to be fully experienced, not something to be labored over or meticulously orchestrated. A Stoic would approach the moment with a mindset of being present, embracing the intensity and excitement without the pressure of making it last forever. It's about prioritizing quality over quantity, and that's what ultimately makes it special. Instead of getting ensnared in a checklist of what intimacy should look like, focus on the connection, on what feels right in the moment, and allow it to unfold organically. When you genuinely embrace this Stoic perspective, you'll realize that passion and intensity don't need to be overly complicated. They simply need to be genuine, spontaneous, and real. And that's when you'll witness a significant difference in your relationships, because you're not forcing anything. You're simply allowing things to unfold in their own natural way. When it comes to intimacy, remember, sometimes less is truly more. A quick, passionate moment filled with intensity and excitement can forge a profound connection that lingers far longer than anything drawn out or overly planned. When you learn to balance passion with presence, you'll cultivate a deeper, more meaningful connection, not just with her, but with the entire experience itself. Key takeaways. The strategic absence. Demonstrate that you have a life outside of the relationship. Occasional unavailability can increase her interest. Trust and space. Be secure enough to give her space and trust her decisions. Jealousy is often a sign of insecurity. The allure of competition. Having female friends, especially attractive ones, subtly signals your value and creates healthy competition. Decisive leadership. Women are often drawn to men who have strong opinions and aren't afraid to take charge. Passionate brevity. Sometimes, quick, intense moments can be more thrilling than long, drawn-out romance. By embracing these often unspoken desires and grounding your actions in the principles of Stoicism, self-control, inner peace, and embracing the present moment, you can cultivate relationships that are not only more fulfilling, but also built on a foundation of authenticity and mutual respect.